Oh, hello. Oh, fuck. My lens is dirty. Ah, much better. Nobody likes a streak, right? Look what we got here, YouTubers. It's the Corporate Sludge all the way from Toronto, Ontario. Cheers. Oh, 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 that was much needed. And now let's grind up some marijuana. Oh, yeah, folks, marijuana. So, folks, my friend's grandmother, she was in a care home, paying $11,000 a month to be there, right? The place was seriously short-staffed since the COVID, and she wasn't getting her proper care. And so my friend, who was paying the $12,000 a month bill, stopped paying it. Matter of fact, he closed the bank account that the checks were written to, so they all went NSF. And so on. And so he stopped paying it. Well, 3 months go by, folks, and the place contacts him and goes, "Hey, we noticed you haven't paid the bill for the past 3 months." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I think I paid enough already to deal with your shabby care, you know? Fuck. I paid for the first year. The second year should be free after your shabby care." And they're like, "Oh, well, that ain't how it works." And he's like, "Oh, well, then I can come pick her up anytime. She don't need to stay there." And they're like, "Okay." And so he comes and picks her up, right? And they're like, well, while he's picking her up, they're like, "You still owe us like $36,000. And he's like, "Yeah, burn in hell, assholes." Yeah. And so that was the end of that. And so then he left. And now his grandmother has a full-time nurse, folks, in her own apartment for far less money. Oh, yeah. And so that's what more people should do who are in those situations, you know? I see these situations all the time on the internet where so-and-so hasn't been allowed to visit their family member for like months. I'm like, why? Why are you still paying the fucking bill? You know, they set rules like that on me due to COVID, and I just stopped paying the bill like my friend, you know? Be like, "Sorry." Oh, and I guess since I'm not allowed in there, I can't come pick her up. So you're going to have to care for her for fucking free now. Oh, yeah. That's how it'd be. That's just me, folks. You know, I wouldn't tolerate that kind of bullshit. Right? Don't understand why some people do. And so we've got some weed all ground up, folks. We do. And we're going to smoke it, you know? Especially when the bills are so high, you know? It's not like they're living in a luxurious palace. They got a room in a fucking care home. $11,000, $12,000 a month. Oh, fuck. That's almost as high as the rent EG pays on his fucking condo, penthouse suite in fucking Kitsilano, the most expensive neighborhood in probably the world. And so here we go. Fire in the hall. It's like these people, folks. There's 2 towns over. They pay taxes to have snow removed in the winter and garbage pickup. And that's about it. Their taxes are very low compared to in the city. Less than half. And so that's all they get. But these people didn't get the snow removal this year. No. And they're complaining about it on Facebook. And it's like, dude, I wouldn't be here on Facebook whining about it. You know where I'd be? I'd be in court filing a lawsuit for my taxes that I didn't get my money's worth out of. Oh, that's what I'd be. Saying that they didn't provide the services, the essential services that they said they would. And so I shouldn't have to pay the same price, you know? And I'd drag it out in court. As you know, I'm a pro at that, folks, for fucking 10, 20 years, regardless if I win or lose, right? We would have dragged it out so long and made non-payment during the whole time, and you can't repossess while we're in court over the case. Oh, fuck. I would dick this thing around for 15, 20 years. Endless appeals. I appeal, folks. People, you know, people are always like, how do you make your case get dragged out for so long, Steve? Don't they just drop the charges? I'm like, oh, yeah, they try that. I file an appeal if they drop the charges, saying that I haven't been properly tried in a court of law and was denied my day in court. That's the grounds for my appeal, because they dropped the charges. So I was denied my day. It's a no-brainer. And every Canadian has a right to that day in court. And so I always file an appeal. Win or lose, I file an appeal. We drag it out for fucking ever. Oh, fuck, you'll grow old waiting for me to stop dealing with it. I had a causing a disturbance case, folks, cost the taxpayers of Canada millions, double-digit millions to deal with. Fucking 2 different district courtrooms, 20,000 testimonies that they had to take, that I made them take. I was running an ad through the paper, getting as many testimonies as possible. Contact officer so-and-so. He used to come to my house going, Steve, you should take that ad out of the paper. I'm like, no, I don't think I can do that. You're the scumbags who put these charges on me. Now you're going to pay for them. Oh, you are. And folks, you know, it was really funny. After they had taken testimony from like 20,000 people, which took over 2 years, right? It was a great delay tactic. They had a box of paper, literally this high off the floor, like 5-6 feet tall, of paperwork they had done. And they called me into an office and they go, oh, here's some particulars. And it's like 5 or 6 feet tall of paperwork. And I start laughing my ass off hysterically. And they're like, what's so funny? And they're like, oh, I'm not actually interested in this shit. You can keep it all. I just wanted to make sure you guys fucking printed and took all these fucking statements. And then I started laughing hysterically as I left the room. Oh, yeah. Go fuck yourself. You know? Every time. And then we used to sit in the courthouse, folks. This is another fine thing. During that trial, I'd sit in the courthouse and start causing ruckus, eh? And one time that one of the lawyers come out of the room, eh? And they're like, could you guys like be quiet out here? We're trying to conduct court in here. And I'm like, hey, asshole, the sign on the wall, it says no recording devices and no cell phones. Nowhere does it say I gotta listen to a fucking word you say or be quiet. And then we'd start yelling even louder, woo, and singing songs. So do you know what they had to do, folks, to deal with me? Because I caused such a ruckus, they couldn't like deal with anybody else's case while I'm in the building. And so what they did, because I bring like 50 people with me too, right? And so what they did is they made my case on Saturdays, folks. Saturdays. This means now we're opening the courthouse specially for me because normally they're closed. Everybody in that courtroom's now getting paid overtime. You know? Oh, fuck. It was good times. These people over at Fairy Creek, these environmentalists, they're like, we've cost the RCMP $9 million. I mean, your protest has been going on for 4 years and that's all you costed them? I can cost the RCMP $9 million in fucking 2 months. You know? I've done it before. I told them, you guys got to up your game. That's why they're chopping the trees because who cares? You aren't really a distraction. You're not really doing much. Ah, fuck. If it was people like me there, let me tell you, they would have stopped cutting the trees because it would cost more to deal with you than the trees are fucking worth. It would. You'd go bankrupt fast. Anyways, that's how it is, right, folks? Some people, they don't understand how to play the game, you know? You just got to drag it out. And then I tell my lawyer, make as many court dates as possible. Make them all like monthly, right? He's the one that has to show up, not me, right? I pay him to show up. So I never even have to show up to any of these court dates. So it doesn't bother me how long it's dragged out. He just phones me when it's over. And then after like 2-3 years of him playing all these games and making court dates every monthly for various different reasons, eventually he runs out of reasons. He's like, Steve, I can't keep playing these games. I'm going to lose my license, you know? I'm like, not a problem. I'll show up to court today on your behalf. And then I show up and I go, Your Honor, I've had to fire my lawyer and I'll be hiring a new one. Now a new excuse to fucking set another date. And now we're going to have to do all that shit that my old lawyer did all over again. We need particulars again. We need this, that. Oh, I need to go over the testimony. Need to do for another 2 years of fun and games. Before we get anywhere, you know? Oh, yeah. We used to fucking cost these people some cash, you know? Not to mention when they used to raid like Mark Emery store, we would deflate every tire to every emergency vehicle in the neighborhood, smash windows at every bank in the city, any government building windows would get smashed. Because we knew you could get away with it because the police are all busy dealing with the riot at the fucking store, right? Oh, yeah. I've lost count of how many fucking fire trucks and fucking police cars I've set on fire through the years, you know? It's an endless number. They don't let you get away with that anymore here in BC, folks. That was back in the good old days. Now they know not to leave an emergency vehicle unattended because people will either destroy it or steal it. Oh, yeah. You leave it alone and it won't be there when you come back. That's how it works in these parts. So anyways, here we go. Gonna do another big fat dab. I carry no identification, folks. In just a sec. When I used to get arrested, police would go, "You got any ID?" And I'd be like, "Fuck you, pig." And then they'd search my pockets and find no ID. So, what's your name there, boy? Go fuck yourself, asshole. That's my name. Okay, put him in the back. Then they'll take me to the police station and try and fingerprint me. And they hold your finger and try and make it still, but they can't hold it still enough if you're willing to shake it. And so we play this game of the fingerprinting game, and it doesn't work. They can't get my fingerprints, right? So then they throw you back in the cell and try again the next day. And I can drag this out for 3 or 4, 5, 6 days before they even know who the fuck I am. Oh, yeah, I do. Meanwhile, while I'm in the cell, I scream the whole time. I kick and bang at the door. Every other prisoner in the place is like, shut the fuck up! The police who work there have to deal with all this fucking chaos. You know? They just want you the fuck out of there so badly. And, yeah. I kick the door every waking moment I'm there. I just sit there kicking the door. Boom, 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 boom. 12 hours a day. The police would come to my door, go, quit doing that, boy. Go fuck yourself, pig. Fuck you, pig. I'd start screaming so loud, and then I'd scream, fuck you, pig, for the next 2 hours and kick the door. And so then they would know not to bother talking to me anymore. And then I remember one time the guy goes, you know, kid, you could make it easy on yourself and just tell us who the fuck you are. I'm like, how would that be making it easy on me, buddy? You know what? I'm going to be hanging out here either way if you know who I am or not. And I'm enjoying this little fingerprinting game we play every day. You know, I am. It's a lot of fun. I get out of my cell. We go for a little drive, a little walk. Get out, have some fun. Name call all you fucking scumbags. And yeah, I don't see how it would make it better on me if I told you who I am. Then I would lose out on all this fun I'm having. You know? It wouldn't be better at all. I'm better off just keeping my mouth shut, like my lawyer always says. And then my lawyer will show up even when they don't know who I am, and he'll tell them who I am, eh? He goes, yeah, that's my client, Mr. Payne. I'm posting bond for him. And they'd be like, oh, thank God, he's leaving this place. And then, and then we'd have protests outside the jailhouse. You know, Mark Boyer would organize protests. So now there's the jailhouses in downtown and in Vancouver on Main and Hastings, right in the downtown area. So that whole downtown intersection, one of the busiest intersections in the city, closed the whole 5 days I was in jail. Closed. Because we've got hundreds of people now out there protesting, insisting I be released. And the cops don't even know who I am half the time, you know? Oh, yeah. This is how you cost fucking money. You know? You got to be willing to play the games. Oh, you do. You can't be scared of hanging out in the cell for a little while. Or getting beat up, you know. Sometimes you got to take your beatings like a man. You know, folks, like my dad used to say. Oh, yeah. You know, back in the old days, folks, my dad, he used to have to deal with all these union bosses. And, you know, nowadays, these union bosses, they're just pathetic. They do nothing for nobody except steal their money and embezzle all the fucking pension funds, right? You know it, I know it. Just totally useless fucking human beings that the world would be better off if they were shot in the head. But that's the only problem I have with Joe Biden. He's a big supporter of these fucking scumbag unions that are just embezzling people's money. Makes me wonder if he's a crook too, right? And so, anyways, he would have to deal with these scumbags. And back in the day, folks, you know, that this is back when they got things accomplished for you. You know, that's why things improved from the 50s to like the 80s, because back then they actually accomplished it. You know how they did it? Oh, I know, because I witnessed it before, folks. They used to show up at my dad's house because my dad's told him to go fuck himself over the phone. So they're like, the phone doesn't work. So they'd show up at my dad's house. My dad would come flying out the door with a baseball bat and 2 bodyguards with fucking steel bats in their hand, and they'd beat the shit out of the guy so badly in the front yard. And then I remember one time when the neighbors called the cops because the guy was being beat up so badly in the front yard. And the cops came and they beat him up some more. And then they're like, don't worry about this piece of shit, Mr. Payne. And they threw him in the trunk of the police car and drove off to beat him up somewhere else where there's not such a big audience. And then he'd end up in the hospital in like a body cast, barely alive, on life support and stuff. And all the workers would show up and they'd be like, what the fuck happened? How did this happen? And he'd be like, I went to go talk to the bosses about improving things, and this is what they did to me. And then before you know it, the factory's being set on fire and all the cars are being rolled over and people's houses are on fire and a few people have been shot here and there and rumbles and riots are breaking out all over town. And all of a sudden, negotiations are on the table. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they are. That's what it takes. You got to take your beatings like a man, or you ain't going to get anything done. You know? It's true. And so that's how it used to work, folks, back in the glory days. And shit would get accomplished. Oh, they would. Now all they do is they phone the guy up. And they're talking to somebody like my dad. He just goes, fuck yourself, buddy. Go lick my testicle. And when you're done with that one, lick the other one. You know? Oh, yeah. You gotta give a rat's ass. They're too busy embezzling all your money anyways. They don't even bother with the phone call. And then they'll go on strike, right? That's what they like to do now. Oh, we're going on strike. And then the factory just closes and moves to fucking Mexico and lays them all off because their union was dickless and ballless. Yep. Back in the day, those options weren't available, you know? You thought you were going to move your factory, you'd end up dead before you moved your factory. Dead. No fucking exaggeration. You pulled off shit like that, you were in the fucking cemetery back in those days, folks. That was your fucking end of your life would happen quickly. Well, it would. People died back in those days over issues like that. Not like today where we're all just a bunch of pussies. Anyways. No, today they're all just pussies. It's a pussy factory out there, folks. I mean, do you know what? If COVID had happened in the 70s, it wouldn't even be a news story, folks. And a lot more people would have died because there would have been no restrictions. And still, it wouldn't have been a news story. Like here in Canada, only 30,000 people have died from COVID out of 40 million people. But I mean, even if 5 million had died from COVID out of the 40 million people, it still wouldn't have been much of a story back then. It'd be like, fuck, people die. How is this a fucking news story? You know? It wouldn't have mattered how nasty it was. You know, back in polio, folks. Oh, my mother remembers polio well. Yeah, people were dying. That was your only option. You got polio, you died, or became severely crippled, right? My mother remembers it well. And she was like, no restrictions. People were dropping dead everywhere. They had no clue how you were even dying because it wasn't even much of a news story. So nobody really knew if it was airborne, waterborne, what-borne, any kind of science that was available wasn't made public. None of it, period, end of sentence. And so all people knew is that their children were dying from some horrible disease that they knew nothing about. And that was the end of it. Oh, yeah. And then eventually they found a vaccine and it all got better. Yeah, I lost a lot more than 3 to COVID. I've lost a lot of friends in the last 2 years. I'm not sure they all died of COVID, but the last 2 years, a lot of people have been dropping dead. And because I just know so many people from being a celebrity in Vancouver and stuff that it's a lot, double digits. It's like 30 or 40 people in the last 2-3 years. Now, some of them definitely didn't die of COVID, but some of them had COVID and may have died from it or definitely died from complications of it. I have a friend, he was asthmatic. I have 2 friends who were asthmatic that died from COVID. They had COVID, but the doctor's report is that they didn't die from the COVID. They died from an asthma attack. But the asthma attack was probably induced from having COVID. You know? Well, it probably was. And so what can you do? Like Colin Powell, folks, he's in one of our videos that I've just reposted. He died. Yeah, he died of what did his mother say he died of? He had COVID. But the doctor eventually said it was a heart failure because he had a stressed heart. It was already abnormal beating and stuff like that. But once again, probably induced by COVID, you know? So he probably died from the COVID. But who the fuck knows? And so there you go. Mark Boyer had an irregular heartbeat. And they sent him to the hospital, folks. And at the hospital, the doctor goes, we got to send you in right away for emergency surgery for a pacemaker, or you're going to be dead in a week. I can't even believe you're still alive now. And Mark Boyer said, fuck that shit, and walked out of the hospital. A week later, he was dead. And so there you go. That's how it happened with him. Yeah. Everybody's dead. My whole filming crew is dead, folks. That's why we don't make videos anymore. Everybody's dead. All the guests on my show, most of them are dead. And yeah. Dead. Here a body, there a body, everywhere. Body. Woohoo. So we're going to do another big bong hit here. As you guys know, folks, that I've been shot a few times. Well, about 8 years ago, I was shot in my arm by a 32, and it shattered one of the bones up here. And in the last 2 years, it started to get sore again. It kind of sucks. It's like arthritis or something. I don't know. I haven't seen a doctor about it. Fuck. I usually go see, one of those underground dentists in fucking Richmond. But I don't live in Vancouver anymore. And so they don't have unlicensed doctors out here. I asked my friend. He's like, no. You got to be in the city for that, Steve. Yeah, so that's how it is. Oh, folks, just a sec. I'm going to be right back. I forgot my stupid iPad, and it's hard to pay attention to what's going on. There we go. That works better. Busted for weed. I've been arrested like over 50 times for weed. You'd have to narrow it down. And then every time I'm arrested and the police ask me, what's your name? We go through the same routine. Fuck you, pig. Then they search my pockets. No ID. Now it's going to take 5 or 6 days in jail before they can even ID me. Every time they arrested me, folks, it cost the system millions of dollars. Then I drag each and every case out for years. I've never had a case last any shorter than 5 years. Then never obey anything the court tells me to do. Not even one. Matter of fact, I go through the list and make sure to violate everything. And then I phone them and let them know, hey, you do know I'm violating every fucking order in the court. You better come pick me up. You know? I do. So eventually, you know what they used to do? The judge would ask me, so Mr. Payne, you plan on following any of these orders? And I'd be like, no, I don't. Not even fucking one. And he's like, well, what's the problem with them? I'm like, the problem with them is they're too fucking oppressive. And I just aren't going to follow any of them. And eventually, as some of you may know, My court orders eventually said I was allowed to legally possess and carry marijuana as long as it was for work-related purposes. This is back when marijuana was a crime, folks. They just didn't want to deal with it anymore, with me. The jailhouse didn't want to keep me there. They sent me to the remand center a few times. I remember the last time they sent me. The guy shows up. The guy who gives you a cell and stuff comes over and calls me into his office. He goes, "So, Mr. Payne, I just want to verify, what are you actually here for?" I'm like, "Oh, marijuana." And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just verifying that with you. I thought there was a mistake here on the paperwork. Excuse me for a second. I got to make a phone call." And he makes a phone call. "Hey, you guys over there, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you people sending this scumbag Mr. Payne over here to me. Like I've got room for pieces of shit like this to be hanging around here. I don't know what the hell's going on in your head over there that you think we're going to hold this guy here. But after this conversation, I'll be letting Mr. Payne out the front door. Have a nice night." That's how the conversation basically went. And then he's like, "Mr. Payne, we don't have time or space for your bullshit. You're free to go." That's how that happened. They couldn't even keep me at the remand center. The guy was like, "I ain't dealing with this shit. No. It's beyond the call of duty." But folks, that's why you do the crime in Canada, right, folks? We got an old saying here in Canada. If you can't do the time, you do the crime in Canada, right, folks? Of course you do. I mean, people from all over the world bring people they want to murder on to Canada. They're like, "Oh, hey, old friend, wouldn't you love to take a trip with me to Canada? Oh, we'd have such great time. Oh, no, I don't hate you at all. No, I like you now. It's all good." And then you get to Canada and you get shot in the head. And then he's back in Pakistan or wherever before Rocky and Bullwinkle even know he's fucking dead. And the investigation's a hopeless cause. And no other country gives a fuck what Canadian police are going to ask, right? And so, yeah, but he's free to go. And I mean, even if he was caught in Canada, they would release him the next day on a bond, and then he'd be free to leave, cross the border into the United States, and then catch a plane back to his home country. Not a problem. Not hard to do at all, and it happens every fucking year on a pretty much a weekly basis. Oh, yeah. And so that's how that is. Yeah, the legal system here, it's kind of a joke, right? I mean, one, you got the police who couldn't fucking find a criminal if he fell on him and farted. And then you got the legal system who will just, if you do by chance catch him, they'll just let him go anyways. Right? It's totally lawless here. People are free to do whatever the fuck they want. I see some of the worst drivers I've ever seen in the fucking Western world right here on this island. Holy fuck. Half of them are drunk. Oh, yeah. I mean, the chances of being pulled over for drinking and driving here on this island are slim to none, right? Slim to none. My friend's been living here on the island for like 25 years. Guess what? He's never been pulled over in his life. In his fucking life. Yeah. Never seen no road check. He's out. He goes out all the time. And he drinks. Yeah. Never been to no road check. Nothing. Oh no. They last year, folks, the guy ran over a lady at the crosswalk in a wheelchair with the light on. Oh yeah, imagine it's like a 500-pound wheelchair, just bam. Oh yeah, doing like 100. And oh, just a few days ago, just in the next town over, some guy doing 100 through the intersection hit somebody. They went flying 20 feet into the air. By miracle, they're not like fucked up. Oh yeah, the police have found his car, but who gives a fuck, right? This guy has already been charged with multiple homicides in the past and is still a free man to go around doing some more. Oh yeah, when they went to check the vehicle ownership of the person who owns it, it's a guy who's not supposed to be driving and is up for multiple vehicle homicide fucking charges. Oh yeah, so this is just a guy who randomly kills people with his vehicle, and they keep releasing him anyways. And there's thousands like him, folks. Oh, there are. You know, when somebody says, "Go ahead of me," you know, like they like you can cross the street and they stop. I don't cross the street. No, no, no. And then they hit the gas and run me over and fucking say I was jaywalking and I can't even fucking sue for shit if I live. You know? No, no, no. I'll just go somewhere else. Sometimes they sit there a long time and I'll just walk away then. Yeah, I don't do that. Just keep driving normal. I'll cross when there's not a car, you know? Yeah. And I certainly don't cross at the intersection, folks. You know, that's where the crosswalks are at the intersection. But that's also where you get killed because nobody obeys the street signals, lights, or fucking any of that other shit. It's zero enforcement, completely lawless when it comes to traffic. And and in an intersection, I have to pay attention to vehicles coming from 4 different directions, you know? No, no, no. It's too much to pay attention to. I'll just jaywalk in the middle where the road goes only 2 ways. It's much easier to pay attention. Jaywalk and live. You know what? That's what I say, you know? Oh, yeah. I don't trust any of the lights. No, none of them. None of the crosswalks. Can't trust them at all. I sometimes use them, but I won't go on them until I see the car has actually stopped. Slowing down ain't good enough for me. And even stopped, I don't really like it when they're sitting there because they could hit the gas and run you over again. And it wouldn't be a shocker. I've working in the drug industry, I've met those kinds of people who have done exactly that. And so those are the kind of scumbags I had to work with, you know? Oh yeah. And killing people with traffic, well, that's just a standard thing, part of the game. You know, EG used to push people into traffic. I'd be like, hey, that's that scumbag. And he'd run up behind him, standing in front of a busy road, and go, boom. And then the guy got hit by a car. We'd be like, oh, fuck, looks like he got hit by a car. Fuck, I wonder what happened there. Oh, well, another piece of shit. Off to the hospital. Yeah. Shrooms are disgusting. What's there to say? Nasty. That's what there's to say. Nasty. Nasty shrooms. Don't do them at all. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, they're so fucking nasty. There's no way to make them even remotely not nasty. Uh, uh, uh. Oh, there is no way. And so there we go. I'd rather go get the COVID shot than eat shrooms. Fuck. At least that's over quickly. Fire in the hall. Oh yeah, well LSD is better in every fucking way, man. It's not even a comparable drug. Shrooms are nasty, fucking make you sluggish, taste like shit, probably will vomit from the experience. Odds are not leave the room that you took them in the whole time you're on them. Oh yeah, it's just lame. Boring. Not to mention tastes like shit. Oh yeah, means well eat shit probably tastes better. Actually. Oh yeah. Lots of people I know got. Oh fuck, my phone rang. Lots of people I know got the jab. They tons of my friends work in the medical industry. They have no choice, right? And we all know it to be harmless, so we're not worried about it. It's just we don't believe we actually need it because I don't know who's doing this. I've meant to. I normally shut my cellular off, folks, and I forgot to do that. Yeah. Anyways. So. Yeah, it's just a money scam, right? Politicians are being paid money to make people give jabs. The more jabs that they give, the more money the drug company will give the politician for buying his fucking product. It's standard procedure that doctors do the same thing. Everybody plays this game, right? And these drug companies have enough money to bribe everybody in every country around the fucking world. And that's what they do. And so, yeah, it's just a money scam. I don't believe it to be dangerous or something. It's pretty benign and quite confident of that. It's just, it's unnecessary. And I don't really like needles. And so I take a pass, right? But a lot of my friends, they've had to do it to keep their jobs in the medical industry. Oh, these anti-jabbers that go around saying crazy shit, I think they're mentally ill. They just say stuff that don't make any sense, right? Like, I don't know what you say about people like that. These are like the people who deny climate change isn't being caused by our behavior. You know, what do you say to people? If you know, I just walk away. Fuck, okay, I'm dealing with a retard. Some people have problems just living within reality. And you just gotta walk away, you know? Oh, stupid is. Actually, the climate's been the same for 15,000 years. 15,000 years, it hasn't changed. Not even a little bit. That's why we've been able to maintain the civilizations we've had, because we've relied on the consistency of the weather systems. And folks, if you go back in time before 15,000 years ago, you'll discover we haven't found a civilization that existed before then. Because before then, people could not build a civilization because weather was inconsistent. And yeah, you could farm and hang out here for a year or two, and then you'd have to move on to a new place. Civilizations only started to begin when weather became consistent. But anyways, we all knew that one day it would come to an end, but we've caused this to come to an end today at this point in time. This is a no-brainer. We know exactly how it's caused. The math has been done on how much is in the atmosphere, how much we pumped out, and where we should be. And it's very simple math, and it's a no-brainer. There's nothing really to deny. And we probably would have had another 500-600 years at least, if not 1,000 years, if it wasn't for our behavior. Marijuana is already legal. There's nothing they can do about it. Fire in the hall. Yeah, I'm single vaxxed. I only got one jab. I'm like, that's all I need. Good enough. I'm good. I'm healthy anyways. I probably didn't even need that. And so, yeah. Oh, yeah, good old aliens. They're always coming. Aliens wouldn't come here because there's no intelligent life or anything else of value that's worth the trip. So there's nothing here. It's so far away. It's not worth the trip. For what? Aliens that could get here, folks, they wouldn't consider anything on this planet intelligent life. You can count on that. Yeah. They wouldn't be impressed in any form at all. And just wouldn't be worth coming to visit. There's some shithole rock. A lot of meaningless life forms on it that have zero to offer. Like totally less than zero to offer, you know? Oh yeah. Like why? Why were they bothering? Unless they just want to kill us all for fun, but I mean, they'd just blow up the planet, be done in 5 minutes, and well, I guess that's over. Go find something else to do. No, because aliens with that kind of technology to travel around wouldn't be barbarians like we are that need to kill to eat meat. Oh, yeah. That's one thing they would see about us and go, fucking barbarians. They're not just stupid. They're also barbarians. Oh. And that's what future people will think of people of this time today that live in this time now. You can count on it. When they look back at us in a couple 100 years from now, they'll be the people of that era were barbarians. This totally ruthless, nasty, and evil. So, anyways, and so that's how it is. But in the future, folks, they'll figure out how to grow this meat. It's just a matter of time. And it'll be cheaper, taste better, and you won't have to kill something to to enjoy it. Oh, it's true. It's coming soon. COVID's over. You did know that, right? We're in the Omicron now. Fuck. Just like our top doctor said, it should be over in the next few months. This is the final rush we're in. They feel everybody in BC will have the COVID in the next few months, which will then mean herd immunity, and that'll be it. The whole population's immune. We can all fucking move on. And oh yeah, no, it's real. I know I don't have to. Half my friends work in the industry. It's real. Only a moron would think anything else, right? It's relative. It's really harmless, and it's the one we've been waiting for. It's the end of the COVID fucking. It's the end of the whole fucking pandemic. Next year at this time, all the rules will be gone. Everything will be over. what we've been waiting for. And just hopefully we get a year or two before the next pandemic comes along. I don't get my flu shot. I don't need it. I'm healthy. I don't like needles. I don't go see doctors. Yeah, I'm like in ancient times. I don't see doctors, period. No, I haven't seen one face to face in who knows how many years. Many. 25, maybe 30 years. But anyways, there is one I call every now and then for prescriptions, but that's about it. He's a friend, so I just tell him what I want. He goes, okay, not a problem. I'll call it in for you. Yeah, well, nobody needs the third shot, that's for sure. It's just a money grab. I don't believe it to be dangerous. It's just a money grab, right? Oh, yeah. The politicians, they're getting paid big by the drug companies to make sure as many people as possible get the vaccine. That's why the politicians bring on all these crazy rules to try and get you to get vaccinated so that they can make some big bucks, right? Oh, fuck. You'd be doing the same thing. You know it. And so, yeah, all it is a fucking money grab. It's totally unnecessary. No, no more are coming. Like I say, COVID's over. You're a little paranoid. It's coming to an end. No, the Omicron is the end. This is the one we celebrate. You should be happy. Celebrate good times. Come on. They just announced the other day on Canadian news that all the fucking things will probably be done by summer. And that life can start going back to normal soon. Then you won't need any shots at all. It won't matter. Be back to the old ways. Until the next pandemic comes, which won't be long this time. We had a long wait between this one and the last one. It was amazing how long the wait was. But now that the sixth grade extinction is in a full run and the ice is melting fast, we'll be lucky if we get months, a year, or a year and a half or something before a new pandemic comes along. Oh, yeah. And there's stuff that's going to melt in that ice, folks, that we've never even seen before. Oh, at least this shit that we're dealing with, we knew all about it, was expecting it. Oh, and then it came. And so it wasn't a big surprise. But the shit melting in the ice, oh, it'll be a big surprise. And they won't be able to make vaccines for that shit. You'll just drop dead. And it'll actually be something dangerous. Oh yeah, it's coming. Yeah. And so Yeah, they've already shown, I've watched many programs where they've shown many bacterias, viruses, and various other things melting in the ice. Millions of them already discovered that they've never seen before, ever, and have no clue. Some of them have a biological structure that makes no sense. And they have no clue how it is even in alive, and it doesn't even fit the bacteria or virus spectrum. It's a new life form altogether. And they're all headed our way. It's just a matter of time. One of them's going to be unfriendly. It's just to be expected, at least, you know? I think that's pretty much to be expected. And there's still millions more, if not billions more, waiting in the ice. Oh, yeah. We can't track them fast enough. Oh, oh, look. Well, folks, it's about minus 400 in here. And so I'm going to run. Yeah, the shots are pretty unnecessary if you're healthy, right? The COVID, it only kills people who are 5 or 10 minutes away from death, anyways, for the most part, especially the new one. Holy fuck, it doesn't even make healthy people sick. And so, in my opinion, the shots are somewhat unnecessary to healthy people. It's just a big money grab, right? Drug companies, they like money, just like anybody else does. We'd all be doing the same, you know it, if you were in that position. Because, folks, you can never have enough. You know? You can't. No, no. Mm-mm. You know, you'd think, I see these people, they're like, oh, if I only had a few extra $1,000 a month, how great my life would, how dramatically it would improve. Yeah, then they get those extra $1,000 a month, and there's been no improvement really. And they're like, I need a few more $1,000 a month. And it just never ends, right? Like somebody once said to my mother, because she has millions of dollars, they're like, oh, you have more money than you'll ever need. And my mother was like, you never have more than you need. No, there is no limit. No, and once you have millions, you'll still be like, not quite there. A few more things I could use. Yeah, oh yeah, no. I only live once, you know? And then you need more and more and more and more. The same with these drug companies. They have billions, if not trillions, but it ain't enough, folks. Because it's never enough. Oh, it ain't. They have more money than most nations have. But it's just not enough. Because there's so much more we could be doing. But we just don't have enough funds to pull it all off. Oh, yeah. So it comes down to. And so it just never ends. And so, yeah, you'd be doing the same if you were the drug companies. You'd be doing your best to make sure your vaccine is purchased at the maximum amount of volume as possible. And if you were some scumbag politician, you'd take that bribe. Because there's some huge creature in here. Anyways, hope it's not a possum. In Ontario, we get possums, and they're not the most friendly creatures sometimes. Pie in the hall. Hmm. Yeah, there's just never enough. Oh, there's a song, Biggering. Oh fuck, I'll have to play it next time. On the new that new Disney movie. Oh, that's what it's about. I never have fucking enough. And it's kind of deep actually for a children's movie, I think, because it really brings it down into detail. But anyways, no, all the beavers are dead. We killed them all, and you're pretty hard pressed to find a moose too. Most of them are dead too. Killed them all. There are still a few deer for now, most on some of the islands. This island's pretty good, right? But when we lived on Pender Island, the people there, they hate the nature around them and want it all dead. And so they shoot the deer as much as they possibly can, even though they're legally not allowed to. And to them, the less animals, the better. I mean, there's no forest left on that island, anyways. It's all private land, 100%. There's like a frisbee golf course, and that's the only forest. I mean, it's less than 2 acres, if that. And so the animals don't have much left to live in. The rest has been paved. It's the way of the world. But here on this island that I'm on, it's not as bad, but the rape and pillage is at a rapid rate. It's just they lag behind places like Pender Island, who have raped and pillaged every square foot. They at least haven't done that yet. But they're working hard towards it. Oh, they are. They're ripping down the trees and building subdivisions, as fast as they possibly can. And people are complaining that it's just not fast enough because there is really a fucking housing crisis. And so that's how it is. That's how it is. And so eventually there'll be nothing left here either. And I don't think it's not long into the future. But anyways, I gotta run. It's been so exciting. Peace out.